Hello
Showtime.
and welcome to this meeting of the Murfreesboro City School Board for February 24th, 2026. I want to welcome this amazing crowd we have here tonight. We've got a beautiful bunch of people here for a lot of cool stuff at tonight's board meeting. We are going to start off with our Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence. And I'd like to invite 3 of our students to come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We have 2 fourth graders from Northfield Elementary, Carrington Bryant and Izzy Brown, and a 2nd grader from Salem Elementary, Emery Boker. So if the 3 of you could come up, and if everyone else could stand, and we'll say the pledge, and then we'll remain standing for a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Now we'll have our moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. All right, board members, you have seen a copy of the agenda for tonight's meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as printed?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Long. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Dodd. Any comments or questions?
I have a question, Madam Chair. Since we have such a full house, is there a way that we can put all of the fun activities at the bottom of the agenda? And then we can have some entertainment at the end, and that would keep us awake?
I veto that.
I feel like if we polled the audience, that would not be a very popular option. Do I have any other questions or comments about the agenda?
A real question.
All right, all those in favor of approving the agenda as printed, please say aye.
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 And the agenda is approved.
That would be like telling David to have everything at church, have his sermon so everybody could stick around for the good time.
Yes. Pretty much.
Next up, we have communications. Ms. Lisa Trail.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
Evening.
All right, so we've started our school year, obviously, January, not the the new year, not the school year, with lots of parent university events. We were really partnering with MTSU. In January, families had story time and a scavenger hunt at MTSU's Walker Library. In February, families gathered for hands-on art projects at MTSU's Todd Hall. And in March, we're going to the MTSU Dairy. So the parent universities are going great. We also have several more coming up that are Zoom and in person. We'd also like to take time to recognize the community partners who help ensure our students have access to food through our backpack program and our food pantry. Overall Creek led an outstanding school-wide food drive for us and filled up our pantry, so we are so appreciative of them. And also the Murfreesboro Police Department has hosted a mac and cheese drive. This month we're picking up the food, I think, on Friday. So our backpack program is looking great right now. On your desk, you'll find flyers for several upcoming events. The African American Cultural Celebration is February 26th. It features Bradley Academy. It is held at Patterson Park, but there's students from across the district that's going to be participating through plays as well as their art. March is Music Month, so you're going to get lots of invitations from our schools about the music programs. The Choir Festival is March 21st. It is held at Overall Creek this year and featuring 6 of our schools. The City Schools Honor Band will follow that on Monday, March 23rd, with a concert beginning at 6 p.m., and that is hosted by Hobgood. And then, of course, Matilda Jr. hits the theaters this month, or in March. It's at Washington Theater at Patterson Park, and I think you'll see a little bit of that in a few minutes.
Madam Chairman, can I make a statement? I'd like to offer congratulations to you and to Ms. Long and Ms. Dodd for winning your election coming up. We're glad you're going to be back.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Not official yet, but it's looking good. Okay. Next, we have a performance by the Bradley Drama Club. Dr. Duke, did you want to say something?
Yes, I think they'll be coming in just in a second, hopefully. Thank you,
So
Ms.
we're very excited about this when we get to have entertainment at the board meetings. So, and we got to hear a little practice earlier.
Yes.
And I think it's going to be really good.
Yes, okay, so here they come. So as our Bradley Academy Drama Club is coming in, we are excited to have them perform for us as they do every year. Their upcoming production of Matilda Jr. is going to be held March 13th and 14th at Patterson Park in the Washington Theater. The Drama Club is under the direction of Kristen McMullen, and we are so excited to have them here. And with that, we are proud to have a few minutes of entertainment, a sneak preview of Matilda Jr. presented by Bradley Academy.
Auxiliary input.
My mommy says I'm a miracle. My daddy says I'm a special little guy. Only a princess and I am a prince. Mom says I'm an angel. Mom says I'm an angel. Mom says I'm an angel. So you think you're able to survive this mess by being a prince or princess you succeed to escaping tragedy. And even
Thank you so much, boys and girls. Excellent job. And again, we're so excited that everyone can come out to Patterson Park and see so much more March 13th and 14th. Excellent job by the drama team. Thank you, Bradley. We're just so impressed every year at what they pull off. So thank you.
Thank you so much. The arts program at Bradley is just outstanding, and I love that we get to see this little sample of it at our board meeting, just so everyone knows the great things going on at Bradley Academy. We're going to take just a pause here. We've got a lot of transition happening. I know we've got kind of the Bradley families leaving, and we have some teachers coming in for one of the next few items on the agenda, so we'll just pause for a moment. Is Ms. Trails still in here, or Dr. Duke? Can we, while we're paused thinking about Bradley, I feel like we should mention this is a school of choice that there you can apply. So, what is the application window if people were interested in their child being part of the?
That's right. So our application window, Lisa just walked out, opens Friday. That's right. Our application
Lewis is
window
here, yes.
opens on Friday. So they'll have until the end of March to put in an application if their children love theater, if they love the performing arts, and they're interested in having that on top of just a really high-performing academic culture. They should really check out Bradley.
Yeah, it is a hidden.
Go to our
gem.
website, cityschools.net.
On Saturday the
Sign
14th.
up and get involved.
Don't know. Do we know the performance times for Matilda Jr.? Do you have those?
Yes, Friday, March 13th at 6 o'clock and Saturday the 14th at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
6 o'clock. So that night at 6.
We want to welcome our new wave of guests coming in. These board meetings are so popular. We have to go in waves.
What times did he say? Fridays at
6 or
9.
6:30. Well, now that's
Friday
a
is-
special performance for us.
Yeah.
It's a special one. Did they say 6 o'clock or 6:30?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock on Friday, March.
Okay, I think we are ready to proceed with the agenda. And the next item we have is the Best of MCS. And I will turn this over to Dr. Duke.
All right, yes. What an exciting night as we celebrate all the great things happening here in city schools. And of course, that continues with our Best of MCS recognition. And I'm excited tonight to say we actually have 2 Best of MCS recognitions that we get to celebrate. So it's my privilege to recognize these 2 amazing employees for the month of February for the great things that they are doing in our school. First, I'm honored to invite Miss Emily Weber to join me at the podium. Miss Weber is here to work so we can celebrate the incredible impact she has had on students, families, and colleagues at Northfield Elementary. Emily has spent all 8 years of her teaching career in kindergarten at Northfield. As one of the very first teachers that families encounter in their child's school journey, Emily embraces that responsibility with joy and purpose. She shared with me that she treasures building lasting relationships with families as they begin their school experience, and that love for connection is evident from the moment you step into her classroom. A peer at Northfield actually nominated Emily for this recognition and described her classroom as a beautiful reflection of teaching the whole child. It is organized, inclusive, deeply loving, and supportive. She intentionally creates opportunities for every student to feel seen, valued, and empowered. And in a time when education faces many challenges, Emily's unwavering commitment is a powerful reminder of the heart and soul of our profession. Her principal, Mrs. Miffleton, shared that Emily serves as the math leader, supports school committees, contributes to the yearbook staff, and is the go-to tech support for nearly everything. So I'm going to ask you to go see Mr. Settles after the meeting. All while being a devoted mother of two. Colleagues describe her as an incredible teammate, a generous mentor, and someone whose positivity is contagious. One even calls her work daughter, an answered prayer, and constant source of support. Board members, Emily embodies the very best of Murfreesboro City Schools. She ensures every child is known, safe, challenged, and empowered from their very first day of school. And Ms. Weber, on behalf of Northfield and Murfreesboro City Schools, it is my great honor to thank you and to recognize you for being the very best of MCS. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
For our second recognition tonight, it's my privilege to recognize another outstanding member of the Murfreesboro City Schools team, and I'm honored to invite Ms. Michelle Harnish to join me at the podium. Ms. Harnish is celebrating her 15th year in education. She began her journey in 2010 as a midday assistant at Case and Lane before becoming a full-time educational assistant at Mitchell-Nilson in 2014. She also served as the ESP site director there in 2018, and then in 2020, ever since 2020, she has faithfully served as an EA in special education and resource at Salem Elementary. That journey alone reflects her commitment, her flexibility, and her heart for serving wherever she is needed most. A peer who nominated Ms. Harnish shared that she goes above and beyond for her students each and every day. She is patient, she is kind, and encouraging to her students in such a positive way that they want to do better for her. She is described as a wonderful coworker and simply one of the very best EAs there is. Her principal, Mrs. Phillips, added that Michelle is the epitome of what education is all about. She leads with integrity and consistency. She holds students accountable while remaining calm, patient, and supportive. She handles every situation with professionalism and somehow always with a smile. Our students know they can count on her, and so can our team. Michelle shared with me that she loves working with students who learn or behave just a little differently. She teaches small groups from kindergarten through 6th grade at their level, supports social and emotional growth, and begins each morning with a prayer that she can be a blessing to at least one child. Most days, she says, though, she's the one that ends up blessed. Board members, Michelle embodies what it means for every child to be known, safe, challenged, and empowered. And on behalf of Salem Elementary School, Murfreesboro Cities, and our school board, it is my very privileged honor to recognize you, Michelle, as one of the very best of MCS. Congratulations.
Thank you, and congratulations again to our Best of MCS honorees. Our next item on the agenda is our Spotlight on Education. And Dr. Duke, it's back to you.
I'm actually turning it over to Miss Arnett. She is going to introduce a new member of her team for our Spotlight.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It is my pleasure to introduce to you tonight our new Science and Social Studies Coordinator, Miss Brandy Cheatham. Ms. Cheatham has been with the district. She's in her 13th year. At Irma Siegel, she has been a 3rd grade teacher, an academic interventionist, and currently academic coach. So she has come in this week and has kind of transitioned into this role over the next few months, and then will kind of come in full time after TCAP testing. So I wanted you to meet Brandy and give her an opportunity to say something to you.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction and the warm welcome, and thank you for the opportunity. I will like to say, as an instructional coach, it has been a privilege to work so closely with teachers and just see the incredible work happening inside of our classrooms. And in this new role, I look forward to continuing that work across the district and to support teachers in strong, aligned instruction in science and social studies, and so that both teachers and students can thrive. I'm honored to serve, and I look forward to what we will accomplish together. Thank you so much.
Welcome, Ms. Cheatham. We're excited to see what you do. All right, next on the agenda is our public comment. We don't have any public comment for tonight. And then following that, we have our audit report from Job Hastings.
Yes, we are pleased to introduce Mr. Jimmy Job from Job Hastings and Associates, who has just completed our FY25 annual district audit. You have a copy of it at your station as well for yourself to review.
Madam Chair, members of the board, thank you for having me. I appreciate this, and I appreciate all this audience that have drawn with this audit report.
They're here for you.
They came just to see you.
I know better than that. Usually I'm sure they're waiting to sneak out, but yeah, you should have a copy of the report that we issued back in December. And first of all, we'd like to thank Dr. Duke and Daniel Owens and Beth Prater for all their help. It was when we come in, it's really an intrusion. We don't mean to be, but it takes a lot of time and effort and support from the staff there. So we appreciate that, and they're good about helping us that way. If you'll turn over to, there's a letter from us on page 1 there, and just a few pages over, and that letter is a 3-page letter, but it's a long way of saying that the school system received a clean report. There were no findings of any significance, and we issued a clean opinion. So that's the main thing to point out there. The page after that, on page 4, that's about 10 pages, and it's called Management's Discussion and Analysis. And if anybody just wants a quick summary of the financial position of the school system and some of the highlights of what went on during the fiscal year, that's a good place to just kind of get that summary from management's perspective. And if you'll just keep turning beyond that to page 16. The school system as a government has two main presentations. One of those is what's called the district-wide presentation. And what that means is it includes all the assets of the school system, which would include buildings and equipment, all the assets, all the liabilities, including bonds that are long-term. Page 16 is a presentation on that method, which shows, if you'll just look on the column there, total assets of $210 million. Again, that includes all the fixed assets, the buildings and land of the system. And then liabilities down below of about $52 million at that point. What's important to point out is the net position, which means the assets minus the liabilities, was $152.6 million at the end of June. So that's a pretty strong statement. One page over on page 17, this shows all the functions that the school system has and shows the expenses. For instance, regular instruction had total expenses for the year of $63 million. And over to the right, it shows what revenue supported that, whether there were grants associated with that function. And as you keep going on in the last column, excuse me, it shows a number that, and if it's a negative number, that's supported by general taxes of the city and state grants and that sort of thing. And one thing I'd like to point out food service down about near the bottom of the column there, had a total expense of $7.2 million, and you'll see that you would expect that one to be pretty much supported by grants and fees, and as you go across, you'll see that there were fees of $606,000 and $7.2 in grants for the year, so that segment was fully supported. The other presentation is more of a budget look at the system, and all it includes is assets that can be used for next year's budget, such as cash and receivables that'll come in pretty quickly, and payables that are going to be due within the next year. So on page 18, that is that presentation. And what's important to point out here, again, this is just short-term assets, doesn't include buildings or any long-term debt like bonds. But you'll see at that point, at June 30th, you had $66.9 million in total assets, excuse me, and about $8.6 million in liabilities. And then that difference represents the fund balance of the city school system. And at that point, in total, it was $44.2 million. Of that, in the general purpose fund, there's $28 million in fund balance. Of that, $20.4 million is undesignated or unassigned, which means it's available for the next year's budget. And to put that in perspective, that's about 2.5 months of operating expenses, which is a pretty strong statement for the system. In other words, all revenues could stop and you could still operate for another 2.5 months just on reserves there. Over on page 20, and I'll speed up, I promise. Page 20 is the budget for the year and the revenues and expenses for the year, and you'll see under General Purpose School Fund, there was $104.6 million in revenues for the year, and $113 million in expenses, and much of that was supported. The difference was supported by transfers from the city of $8 million. And on page 22, this shows the General Purpose School Fund, and it's the comparison to the budget for the year. And you can see there that the expenditures were under budget for the year. And flipping back a little further to page 28, there's about 30 pages of footnotes that describes things such as the city's retirement plan. It describes all the debt that the school system has associated with the buildings and such. Gives a lot of information about the accounting principles and benefits available to the school system employees. And going near the back here, page 71. As you know, there's a lot of grants that come through the school system. On page 71, it lists each grant. The first couple of pages there are the federal grants that come through the system. And it tells which department those come from, whether it's the USDA or the Department of Education. You'll see at the total awards were $13.5 million in federal grants. And just mention, we're required not only to audit just the numbers of the school system, but also to audit the compliance with these grants. So each one of them has distinct requirements and where they're supposed to, those funds are supposed to be used. As auditors, we're testing that those restrictions and requirements are complied with. We also issue a report on that, which was also a clean opinion. And on page 83, this is just a summary of our results, and it does say that we issued a clean opinion. It says that there were no significant deficiencies or findings that we found during the audit. It also says that we didn't find any instances of non-compliance with those grant agreements, and list the summary for the year. And that is a summary of the audit, and I'll be happy to answer any questions if anybody has them.
Sure. I think Mr. Campbell had a question.
Jimmy, when you talk about grants, and I noticed that over on page 17 with the statement of activities, and you said it was grants of, I don't know, 7 million. Is that by grants? Are you talking about like funding from the state and the federal government?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And that's kind of what I was pointing out with the food service.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we get a lot of USDA grants and other types of grants to support meals, providing meals to the school, to the children. And that's shown there, and they're kind of spread out by program, whether it's instruction or food service or ESP or whatever that function might be.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
As a low-risk auditee. What is that? What is that?
That relates to our audit of federal programs, and there's a criteria they set on how much we have to test. And so if a auditee, the school system qualifies as a low-risk auditee, then we don't have to do as much testing in that area. And the way you qualify is we look back at the prior year, and if there were any findings, then you're disqualified from that. If we've audited a program in the past, or it's a program that's been continuing for years, that puts you in a lower criteria, a low risk audit. So we analyze the system and what we've done in the past to determine if you qualify.
Thank you. Hadn't seen that before.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Joe. We appreciate it very much.
I had a question.
Oh,
Yes,
dear,
sir.
I'm sorry. I tried to cut it off.
It'll never happen.
I'm sorry, it just came to me when I woke up. Aren't we the best school system you've ever audited? Can you say that on the
Yes,
record?
sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that deserves a round of applause.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with I'm a proud graduate of Hopgood.
I know, right?
Ms. Moore, if I can just to say again, thank you to Joe Pacings and Molly specifically, who worked so closely with Daniel and his team to have a budget this large into another year in a row with zero audit findings really goes back to, it is a tremendous accomplishment to Daniel, to Beth, to the entire finance team, but not just them, but to the entire central office and principals who are working so hard to follow those guidelines and to make sure the reporting is done. So at the end of the day, it's taxpayer dollars that we want to be really good stewards of, and I think this shows once again that we've done that.
Absolutely.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I was going to say something similar. So thank you to everyone involved with this, and I do hope the public hears we are trying to be very responsible stewards of your tax dollars.
Absolutely.
Transparency. Thank you,
Thanks,
Mr.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jobe. I think
Thank you.
you're off the hot seat. All right, board members, you've seen a copy of the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Campbell, thank you, Mr. Settles. Any comments or questions? All those in favor of approving the consent items, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The consent agenda is approved. Action items. First up, approval of tenured teachers.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. In your packet tonight, you'll find a list of certified educators who have met all the requirements to attain tenure under Tennessee state law and board policy. These employees have completed the required number of years with Murfreesboro City Schools and have obtained an overall performance effectiveness level of above expectations or significantly above expectations for the last 2 consecutive years. We are so proud of the consistent high performance of these teachers, and we are recommending the board approve their tenure status with great enthusiasm. I would like to invite our Director of Human Resources, Dr. Maria Johnson, to the podium. Several of the teachers obtaining tenure tonight are here with us, and we wanted to formally recognize them for this accomplishment. And so I'm going to ask her to do that prior to the board voting. And upon the completion of her recognizing them, I would like to formally recommend that the board award these teachers tenure.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Teachers, I'm going to call you up. Mrs. Arnett, Chair Arnett's going to give you a certificate. At the end of the presentation, we are going to ask that you wait in the rotunda for a picture. All right, I'll start with Shelby Hawkins. Macy Barrett. Marina Dupes. Ashley Mushamba. Sarah Van Horn. Annabeth Phillips. Dr. Miriam Hill. Dr. Caitlin Bullard. Lee Whitefield. Darinka Beggin. Beggin. Morgan Clemens. Rachel Friedman. Jessica Macbeth. Krista Murphy. Allie Staggs. Emily Thomas. Nicole Dyke. Sydney Fabry. Kimberly Neal. Hannah Hill. Reagan Higgs. Lydia Alexander. Christina Moore. Lucy Abbott. Megan Decker. Sarah Bransford. And Whitney O'Leary.
All right, that was excellent. I guess it's kind of like the climax has already sort of happened, the exciting part. So we'll make it official now. Board members, you have seen this list of tenure-eligible teachers. Do I have a motion to approve enthusiastically this list of teachers for tenure?
I make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Do we have an enthusiastic second? Second. Thank you, Ms. Long. All right, I need an enthusiastic vote. All those in favor of approving these teachers for tenure, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And you're approved.
I have a comment.
Congratulations.
That's okay. I just wanted to say that it is a lot harder to get tenure nowadays than it used to be when I got tenure back in, I don't know, 2000 maybe is when I got tenure. But it is. I'm just, when I read what you have to do now to get tenure, I'm like, huh? Oh my gosh. So congratulations. You deserve it, because I know how hard it is to get that.
I thought it was pretty hard and I got it.
It's tough. It's tough.
All right. Well, thank you all very much. I know you've had a long day, and I know our board members are riveting, but if you just have to go, we understand. So I'll give you a moment if anybody does want to slip out now. We won't be.
It's okay. You can leave with no judgment. No
Got that
judgment.
tenure now.
Turn that camera off.
Right, that's tenure now. Get out of here.
I'm only here for the tenure.
That's right. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, look at that sweet baby.
Yeah, that's some hard work.
It is. They have to be level 4 or 5 for 5 years. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's hard to do. And used to, I got mine. I didn't have to do nothing. I just had to be there for 3 years. I just show up. Show up. For 3 years, that's all I had to do. And now it's 5.
Okay.
Kids were much worse.
All right. Next on our agenda is approval of the collaborative conferencing memorandum of understanding between Murfreesboro City Schools and Murfreesboro Education Association.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the past, I think a little bit over a year, Murfreesboro City Schools has engaged in collaborative conferencing with the Murfreesboro Education Association pursuant to the Professional Educators Collaborative Conferencing Act. The attached memorandum of understanding, which is in your packet tonight, formalizes the agreements reached between the board's management team, which was assigned by this board, and the association regarding areas such as association access, grievance procedures in line with board policy, salaries and wages, facility and safety, sick leave bank representation, teacher work hours, duty-free lunch, and planning time, all in accordance with state law. If approved, the agreement is effective for 3 years upon approval. I would like to personally thank both the MCS and the MEA teams who have worked collaboratively to ensure that all voices were heard, so at the end of the day, we can face our mutual best interest to provide the best education for all students. So several of the team is here tonight. The district team, if you'll stand up if you're here, I'd appreciate it, was led by Dr. Maria Johnson and included Dr. Caitlin Bullard, Miss Emily Spencer, Dr. Liz Ruby, Sherry Arnett, Ken Rocha, and Angela Fairchild represented the district team. And the team from MEA included Mr. Luke Dickerson, Teresa Rotella, Dee Dee Potter, Tony Hartman, Shay Miga, Ty Batts, and Christy Mall, if I could have the MEA team. So I just wanted to personally thank this group for their hard work, because it was not easy. A lot of meetings, a lot of time to flesh this out, so thank you to you guys. And with that, you all have a copy of the MOU, and we are recommending approval as presented.
Thank you, Dr. Duke. Do I have a motion to approve the memorandum of...
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move enthusiastically for approval
Thank you, Mr.
of
Sloan.
this MOU.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Price. Any comments or questions? All right, all those in favor of approving the memorandum of understanding, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And it is approved. Thank you all so much for your hard work to work this out. Is there a signal for...
Oh, I am so sorry, Ms. Spencer. I thought I said your
I think
name.
you said
I
it.
apologize. It's in my notes.
Oh, I thought you said...
What did you say?
Okay. For everyone, thank you very much. All approved, and I guess we're getting down to smaller numbers, but I guess you can go too if that's all you're here for as well. But if you want to stay, we'd love it. It's already approved.
No, everybody that worked on that MOU must stay. We should have put that in the MOU.
But it says all board meetings.
Let's attend all board meetings.
All right. All right. Next on the agenda is approval of the 2026-2027 pre-K and sixth grade placements. Dr. Duke.
Yes, at the February 10th school board meeting, district staff proposed updating placements for sixth grade classes and pre-K programs for the 26-27 school year. These proposed changes are intended to ensure sixth grade students are provided with appropriate instructional programming while maintaining adequate and efficient use of building space. In addition, adjustments were made to pre-K placements to allow for the district to move to more effectively utilize available space across the schools, supporting enrollment growth and maximizing capacity in the buildings. At the meeting, the board requested that district staff survey parents to help ensure they made the most informed decision, and those survey results are included in your packet. At Salem Elementary, we had a 56% response rate, with 24 of the current fifth graders expressing they intend to remain at Salem for sixth grade. 11 of those would remain if the program moved to Case and Lane. For Mitchell Nilsson, we had a 32% response rate, with 10 current fifth graders expressing their intent to stay, 9 of those indicating they would still remain if the program moved to Northfield. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have regarding the results or the staff's recommendation.
Thank you, Dr. Duke. Do I have a motion to approve the staff's recommendation for pre-K and sixth grade placements?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Dodd. Any comments or questions?
I have a comment. It's on the pre-K part, the pre-K placement part, and it's kind of related, but it's not. I want to say to Ms. Robin Newell and to the audience in general, if you are not following Case and Lane Pre-K on Facebook, you need to. It is, if you're having a down day, just pick it up. When I tell you, it will warm the cockles of your heart. It is absolutely, hands down adorable. Hands down adorable. I miss, like, when my grandkids were like that small, because now they're not. So I can watch it, and I actually drive by there every day, several times a day on my route. I'm going to come in there and harass a lot of kids and say boogie, 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 and stuff like that. So it's really, really great. So I just wanted to point that out. It has nothing to do with this, but I did want to mention it. Best of MCS. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Settles. Any other comments or questions about this? I do want to say that and I think you touched on this, Dr. Duke, the board wanted to have more information to be sure we were making a really informed decision about this, because it's always tough anytime people may be moved with their kids and where they're going to school. And so the survey results, that was something the board asked for before taking this vote this week, and I think it helps us be better informed about what the experience would be for kids if we did not make these changes, if they stayed in their zone school.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask Dr. Duke or someone, where will we still have sixth grade classes? I think that the general public would like to know that, particularly parents.
Sure. So we will continue to have clusters. I'm pulling it up here so I can make sure I don't miss anyone. We'll continue to have a sixth grade cluster at Black Fox. We will continue to have a sixth grade cluster at Bradley. Case and Lane Academy will serve not only Case and Lane, but Overall Creek, Scales, and Salem in that building. Discovery School. Hobgood Elementary. John Pittard will serve both John Pittard students and Irma Siegel students. Northfield will serve both Northfield and Mitchell Nilsson students. So all students will be able to remain for sixth grade, but the clusters, again, will give them a more robust sixth grade experience where we typically have smaller enrollments. And if you look at, for instance, Black Fox, Hobgood, John Pittard, that are serving mainly those schools, those are schools where we have really robust experiences, and we want to make more of them like that as well.
Thank you, Dr. Duke. All right, any other comments or questions?
Oh, I do have a question. Are we providing bus transportation to those students who are affected by the changes?
Yes, bus transportation is still available for any fifth grader who elects to stay in a cluster for sixth grade.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? All right, all those in favor of approving the recommended pre-K and sixth grade placements for next school year, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the placements are approved. Next on the agenda, a motion to approve contract budget amendment for the Final Site website.
The Communications Department is requesting approval for the attached contract with Finalsite and the corresponding budget amendment. The contract and budget amendment will be used to transition the cityschools.net website to the new Finalsite platform. This upgrade represents a significant step in strengthening our digital communications and ensuring the district continues to meet federal accessibility requirements. Finalsite currently supports all school websites for MCS, and Finalsite offers expanded features that support ADA compliance, including integrated accessibility monitoring, compliance tools, and back-end design functionality. The budget amendment, which we were out in transparency looking to do this next school year with next year's budget, as we got into the work, we do have the internal money to make some shifts within the communications budget. And that budget amendment will allow us to actually begin the project this spring so that we can fully launch it before the beginning of the 26-27 school year rather than waiting for the next budget cycle. The costs will all be fully covered through savings found in other current line items within the communications budget. The total cost of the contract is $15,000, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve this budget amendment for the contract with Finalsite?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Long. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Price. Any comments or questions? All those in favor of approving the budget amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it is approved. Next on the agenda is another budget amendment, this one for AALN.
We are seeking approval to reappropriate approved funds within our pre-K AALN grant fund. The original number of participants for training and professional development that was being paid for with this grant was reduced. Therefore, the substitutes needed to cover the training was also reduced. We are reallocating those remaining funds so we can purchase more supplies and materials for our pre-K and ensure that we're fully spending the grant money. The total reallocation amount is $15,500, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the budget amendment for the AALN funds?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Long. Any comments or questions? All those in favor of the budget amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it is approved. Another budget amendment, approval of a budget amendment for fiscal year 26 GP attendance support. Thank you, Dr. Duke.
We are requesting an interfund transfer of $1,985 to support additional summer work hours beyond staff member contracted days in our attendance department. The added time, which is equivalent to 11 extra days, will allow our team members to assist families with enrollment and records processing during the summer months. The funds needed have already been approved and will be reallocated from travel, staff development, and other contracted services to cover these salaries. I will say this is traditionally included in our annual budget, but was inadvertently excluded this year, which is why we are adding it back. But when you do our formal budget for next year, you'll see this as included in the original budget. And we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Do I have a motion to approve this budget amendment?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Long. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Dodd. Any comments or questions? All those in favor of approving the budget amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it's approved. Next on the agenda is approval of the revenue and expenditure report for November and December 2025. Mr. Owens.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'll try to keep this short since our auditor was presenting good news tonight. I would like to say a big shout out to my team, Beth, Becky, Dina, Kim, and Melinda, and Ashley. They are the true heroes on the audit, so thank you for listening to me on that. Last month, obviously, we were out for snow, so you have November and December's financial reports in front of us. I don't really want to address anything in November unless you have questions, but in December, we are currently in line with our revenues and expenditures. We're both sitting at 44% on both lines, so we're aligning very well. Obviously, next month and the following month is when a lot of our shared taxes, number 2 and number 3 of our highest revenue, sales tax and property tax, will come in, and then we should be able to really project for this upcoming budget cycle. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the revenue and expenditure report for November and December 2025?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Settles. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Any questions or comments?
I got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Any future looks pertaining to tax pennies on the tax rate?
I wish I could say it this
You heard
time.
anything?
I have not. I'm sorry.
Any other questions or comments? All right, all those in favor of approving the revenue and expenditure report, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, and it is approved. Thank you, Mr. Owens. Reports and information. Enrollment report. Mr. Rocha.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Take just 1 second to load this presentation real quick for you.
Things are a little slower here than California, right?
Glad to be home.
Not in Silicon Valley. So period 5 is looking at December 16th to February 3rd. So I wanted to make sure, kind of preface that. As we take a look at our total enrollment, we had an increase of 5 students this time. Won't read all of those numbers, but want to say that we're heading in a positive direction. As we take a look at our average daily attendance, we did take a dip. It is actually, I rounded it, it's 91.9%, but for the purposes of this, it's 92. And for some of those reasons, as we take a look, there's illnesses that come around in the cold season, especially in December, January. There's snow days. We have typically the week before winter break, I almost said fall break, but before winter break, we see a dip and increase as well. So as that number decreases, we see an increase in truancy and chronic absentee rates that you'll see in subsequent slides. As we take a look at that chronic absentee rate, we did increase. As we know, it will decrease as we go to the rest of the school year. So we did see a spike there for that rate as well. When we look at our truancy, we're seeing that spike as well. Again, that 2%, that 3% decrease in ADA is part of the reason that we see that as well. Looking at those PTRs, we see slight increases and a slight decrease, and would be happy to entertain any questions you may have.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Yes.
It has to do with truancy and really truancy procedures.
Yes.
How do are you familiar with the truancy procedures like for
What is
Rutherford
truancy?
County?
I'm just joking.
No, no.
Yes, sir.
So our procedure, we follow a certain procedure, and I know some of those are outlined by state law, I'm guessing. Do all of the districts follow the same procedure, or are there some tweaks between systems, do you know?
That is a great question. So we all follow the state law. And within that, then the board has the ability, as you've elected, to make some changes. So as we look at our administrative directive, typically what we look at, and these are kind of the markers, at 3 days, we have the teacher or a staff member call home. We want to make contact with the family. At 5 days, the principal or assistant principal will reach out, where we generate a letter. At 7 days, we typically have a letter from the director. And then at 8 days is typically where we schedule tier 3. Some districts wait till after tier 3, or I'm sorry, at the 10-day truancy mark. We're trying to catch kids before they become truant. So are there resources that we can provide that will assist those families that can intervene? Some districts choose to hold that meeting after the fact once they become truant, which is really kind of the main difference.
Can you say more about what Tier 3 means?
So Tier 3 is, so the law requires that we do progressive tiers. So Tier 1 is something that we do for all students. It's really those universal things that we do, the campaigns, the information, the rewards, maybe the house system, there might be points, there may be general communication that goes to all family. When they get to Tier 2, it's a meeting of a sit down. It's an opportunity to talk with families and find out what barriers they're facing, how the school may partner with them. There's typically the social worker, the school counselor, the administrator, the parent in that conversation. They talk about a contract. They put an agreement together that says, let's try this. Let's make sure that we understand if there's something that we need to explore, that we need to try. Sometimes it comes up that there may be a learning disability. There may be a physical ailment that we need to put things in place. So we explore those avenues. When we get to the 8-day mark, we schedule Tier 3. And then from Tier 3, that is typically with our assistant city attorney, myself. We have DCS that we invite, our juvenile systems that we invite. We typically have family preservation initiative there, our social worker, school staff, and then the family. We talk about how can we better support you? Is there anything that we've missed, or is there anything that we need to know as far as the sports being offered?
Great, thank you.
And that, just for the general public, there's a difference between truancy and chronic absenteeism.
That is correct. So truancy is just unexcused, and it's at 10. And when you look at chronic absentee rates, it's excused and unexcused. So if there's a doctor's appointment, if there's whatever reason that would be justified based on state law, that we say that's allowable, that number together includes. Sometimes it may be that the family may go for a vacation, or they may be out for a personal reason, or there may be something medically taking place. All of those reasons count towards that. And that number, as you look at it from this period, is 10 days, but as we get to the end of the year, it's 18 days out of the 180.
Okay. And I'm mentioning that because I guess I want to publish the fact that there are supports in place. We're not looking to chop anybody off at the knees. We want the kids to be in school to get the benefit of the education that we're providing free. So there are steps in place, and it's not an automatic, we kick people out and that type of thing. But our main goal, especially one of the reasons that I got on the board, was to serve students and to make sure that they're getting this education because it is so vital to our lives. So it's not overly punitive, and we're not looking to punish people or track people down or put people in jail and things like that. So if it ever gets to the point that we have to talk with the city attorney or the school board attorney, we've really exhausted a lot of steps, and we've done a lot of things to kind of help it along. So I just want to put that out there. Thank you.
I love that we're proactive.
Yeah, very. I love that.
On the front end rather than the back end.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Any other comments or questions?
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. The witness may be seated. All right. Director's update, Dr. Duke.
I don't have any pressing business or anything else to go. We are continuing to watch the legislative session that is still going on, so that's something we can continue to keep our eye on, and that we'll keep the board updated on as things are passed or as things go into motion. But we are still very active in that season and things that we're looking at. On a personal note, again, I think tonight we've had a lot of celebrations tonight, and I think that's good. And I think that's very appropriate for us to pause, especially we haven't been in these chambers in a few weeks to actually have a formal board meeting. We've met at the district office. So whether it's the Bradley drama team and seeing the amazing thing our students are doing, our teachers who have earned tenure, which, as Ms. Dodd so eloquently put, is quite the accomplishment and something that should be honored. And then the great work of our district and the MEA team, I think just shows the collaborative nature we have in this district. And so I just want to say thank you, because all of that takes a whole lot of work from our central office and our principals. So I just wanted to publicly thank them for what they do for kids. But with that, I have no other updates.
All right. Is there any other business to come before the board?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Settles.
Sorry. I want to say personally thank you to the schools for remembering and recognizing School Board Appreciation Week. We were out that week. Thank you, Lisa Trail. We were out the actual week, but when we met again, all of the school board members received, above and beyond and over the top recognition for being school board members. I have so many of those. I've got a jar of suggestions, one on my desk, and it just says like things to help the schools better or how to get the most out of your job, my job. And one of them was like, you could add more money to the budget so we can have better lunches, stuff like that. It was really cute and beautiful, and I was a little bit jealous, and I meant to take a picture. I don't know if you got by
Discovery.
No, it wasn't Discovery. It was Scales.
Oh, my hat.
Yeah, your name was out there that said, we really love Amanda Moore.
Like for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
And I said I'm going to take a picture, and the day I was going to take a picture, they had took it down. I was like, look at Amanda stepping on up. So they were like, oh, we really love Amanda Moore and the rest of those guys, So it was really good. But so thank you to all of the schools. all of the schools that participated, which I think was all of them. They each adopted. Most of us had like 2, I guess, schools that adopted us, and it was just great. I really thank you. Thank you for the M&Ms, which I ate and I wasn't supposed to, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
I second that.
Yes, we do. We really
you ate M&Ms too?
appreciate it.
Well, not the M&M part. The
Oh.
part how I appreciated my gifts and everything. I had flowers delivered to my house.
Oh, wow.
From, I believe it was Northfield.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was awesome. I was thinking, who are these from? Secret admirer. And y'all, it was the week before Valentine's, and I'm thinking, hell.
You know what they say? Life is made of dreams.
Yeah. But I was so happy to have them.
Beautiful.
Yes,
Yeah,
they were
it was
nice.
nice.
Really good.
It was really
Very
nice.
blessed.
Thanks for acknowledging that, David. I
Very
appreciate it.
blessed, for sure.
Ms. Long, I think you had something.
Yes,
as well.
I was going to say, bus services and that kind of thing has been in the news so much, so I think just for the general audience, I think it would be fitting for maybe Mr. Barch to speak to how we operate our bus system, not to necessarily talk about anyone else's, but just for the general public to know that they don't have any worries in that area.
I'll be happy to. Thank you. Our transportation department is run by our GP budget. And then we purchase buses through different funds, different sources of money. But we, Brian Rome is our transportation director. We pay for the buses. We have a 3-man maintenance team that keeps our buses going. And then our insurance is run through Tennessee Risk Management. And so we're, in a nutshell, we're self-contained.
Okay. That's all I
Yes.
needed. Thank you.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that our families knew that, that we were self-sufficient.
Thank you.
I noticed there is a discussion again in the legislature about whether or not we're going to elect or appoint superintendent. Lauren, you got any thoughts, any update on
I know she has thoughts.
Well, I do have some thoughts.
We all have thoughts.
I love Dr. Duke. No, I'm kidding. But I will say TSBA is doing ARC's attorney session on Thursday. Very excited about that. So I have not kept up with the state legislature session as much this year. I do know that this time they try to put it on. The state legislators try to put some version of this on, but this year it was unique in that it allowed local governing bodies to make that determination relative to their schools, their school boards. And so that would be an interesting take on it. I do think Dr. Duke thinks it might have been pulled, but we'll check on that. And we have talked a little bit about maybe doing, we're just into the legislative session, but it may be good for us to do a review and recap of the legislative session and those bills that affect us once we have a better idea of what those will be once they're fully passed. Because right now it's just a lot of bills floating through the process.
Right.
Well, I can honestly say, in my career, I worked in both conditions, elected and appointed.
I have too.
And the appointed is much better.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is, and rightfully so, an elected person, part of that 4-year tenure is going to be spent for campaigning.
Yes.
It's got to be if you want to go back and do it. And part of the other 4 year, the first 2 years of the 4 may be helping out those that got you elected.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I'm not dropping any bombs, but I would hope that the people of Murfreesboro and Rutherford County would strongly encourage appointed, excuse me.
Well, I think I did read that it passed out of education sub, I think, unanimously. That word, everybody said yes. I think that's what I read. I could be.
That what? That they pulled it?
No, it passed out of their committee. I thought I read that.
Passed a committee, but.
Okay.
All right, any other business?
Potentially be some new commissioners. Might be a good idea when people are asking you for their vote to help inform them a little bit about what transferring pennies and the effect that it has on our system. I think a lot of times people just don't know. And particularly if it's the first time they've run for office or they're seeking office, to help them understand that issue, it might be an appropriate time for us to inform them about what that implication has on our system.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, to that end, I'm sorry to jump on that bandwagon, but to that end, Dr. Duke, I think you had sent us some information before about that effect. I know we talked about it. Would you mind sending that again?
I can do
just
that.
to the email, because people will be asking for votes real soon.
Yes, I'll be happy to send that back out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
Any
you
other?
know, the news media doesn't pick up very much on the good stuff.
Right.
And we're going to run second to other local boards because the news media's going to pick up on the controversial. And I'm sorry for them, but, well, anyway.
It's just.
All right. Any other business to come before the board? All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn? I heard it over here. Mr. Settles, I heard a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.